I'm executing a top shot at the same time, so the King of Diamonds flies from the deck across to reach my hand as my hand goes on the surface. I am Daniel Madison. The move that you've just seen is something that I've been calling the French utility switch. A little over 2 years ago, I shared 2 tutorials sharing the principal switch from the move that you've just seen. Now, I've developed it somewhat since then. It's so much fun to practice and it looks beautiful on film, even though you can see what's happening. And because of that, I don't really even need to teach it. I mean, I can tell you right now, the 9 of clubs is being lapped as I'm placing it on the surface, the King of Diamonds from the top of the deck. I'm executing a top shot at the same time, so the King of Diamonds flies from the deck across to reach my hand as my hand goes on the surface. So that's the tutorial. I know that I could say so much more, and I have filmed a tutorial about this, but I've decided to bite my tongue and not share it publicly at YouTube. However, there's 2 links in the video description to the original videos where I shared this idea. Now, my intention for making this video is not to teach the move, but to show it, to show the beauty of it, and bring your attention to the originator, the creator. I'm not sure if creator is the right word, but the first person to discover and publish this in the world was Babel, one of the most incredible magicians in the world. I had the pleasure of spending an evening with Babel about 10 years ago in Paris, and I learned so much. Not card tricks, not sleight of hand, not techniques, but I learned from his performance, his presentation, his fearless approach to executing dangerous and difficult sleight of hand techniques in front of his audience. Resonating pure magic. There's a lot that you can learn from him. I'm going to leave a few links in this video description so that for anybody here who doesn't know who he is, you can go and check him out, go and watch him. I'm also going to leave links to his teachings, which is at Illusionist of the utility switch in question. And although I'm not going to share this new tutorial with you, if you want to see it, by the way, it's over at Madison.ist at the Malayans. I do want to share some of that video with you, talking about discovery, creation, credits and acknowledgement in the magic world, how I create, how I discover, and how I explore and develop ideas in sleight of hand with magic and playing cards. So with eternal mad love, mad respect, and many thanks to Babel, here is some of the footage from the video in question. A move like this should only ever be a demonstration of sleight of hand, meaning that you are showing the work, you are showing the move, you're showing the sleight of hand, simply because I don't believe when you watch back on this video, when you watch back on the performance and you try it yourself, I don't believe there's any way of making that top shot moment completely invisible, because that card has to travel from the deck to your hand at the moment of the switch, and it can be seen. So in that case, you can only really present this as an expose, as a demonstration of sleight of hand. The reason that I'm making this video, and the reason I sat down to film this new development of the move itself, is because it was made clear to me who the originator of that idea is, if there is such a thing. Now, about 10 years ago, I spent some time in France, in Paris, with a magician who still wishes to remain nameless, and I showed him this move and he said, oh, I do the same thing. So we were experimenting with this move, and I said, do you know who came up with it first and where it comes from, and he stopped me and said it doesn't matter, it never matters. If you look in my video description for any tutorial that I ever offer, there's a disclaimer that says basically my magic and the things that I create, develop and offer and submit to the Gesamtkunstwerk of magic, they don't belong to me, they're not mine. As soon as I've shared them with the world, they belong to the art of magic, and we cannot take ownership over them. The moment we try to own a trick or own a move, we remove something from it, and we interfere with the magician's natural journey in his creative process of developing card tricks, where I have to stop and think, I can't use this because it's not mine, or I can't do something with this because it's not mine. I understand all the crediting and the acknowledgement and all that, and how people want everyone to know, oh, that's my move. Like look at Angle Zero some years back. Somebody came along and said, it's mine, I want everybody in the world to know that it is mine. So what? I said, so what? Have it. I don't care, it's not mine. I don't want it. I discovered it and developed it on my own terms, the way that I do with everything that I do and everything that I practice. I intentionally stay away from the magic industry and from magicians and from magic books and from magic videos, because I don't want to be indirectly or accidentally influenced by other magicians and their moves. I want to keep my style completely original and fresh, and I don't want to ruin my journey as a creative developmental magician who wants to sit in his cabin completely alone with a deck of cards and discover all the weird and wonderful and amazing things that can be done with a deck of playing cards. I'm the kind of person, I don't want somebody to come along and tell me all those things. I want to discover them on myself and go, wow, this thing is cool. I'm going to play with this, I'm going to develop it, and then I'm going to share it with anybody who's interested, either at YouTube or at the Malayans. Now I know that I'm unique in that, and there's certain reasons why I'm like that and why I do that, which I won't get into, but I'm also like not trying to be dismissive of the magic industry and other magicians and other people who offer to the world, because it is very possible, and I've had experience with this, to be influenced in the most positive way. Like you see an idea and you think, oh wow, that's amazing. What if you did this with it? So this move that I picked up somewhere along the lines 15 years ago, and then I showed it to the person in question in France. I recently found out that Babel was the originator, and he tells me that 30 years ago he devised this move. He didn't create it, he discovered it. Now let me be clear on that. When I hear somebody say, the caveman invented the wheel. No, he didn't, Charlie. You can't invent a circle. Like you can't invent a wheel. He discovered it, and that's the way that I look at magic and card tricks. When I discover something new, it doesn't mean that's when it was invented, that's when it came to life. It means that's when I, on my journey, discovered that move. And if I think a trick, a move, an idea is good, I want to share it. I want to make sure other magicians know about it, because unlike me, I know that a lot of magicians want to be influenced and want to learn from other people and want to see these cool tricks and go, wow, I want to be able to do that. I wonder if I can do something else with it. And that's my way of thinking. I wonder if I can do something else with this. I wonder how far I can take it from its original point, just to see the limitations of it, so I know what the best possible version is. And this is a really good example of that idea, because it starts with a switch. The switch is the 9 of clubs on a table for the top card of the deck, right? So you're just lapping this card and you're taking the top card. The development of that was to get rid of the deck and have the King of Diamonds in a palm. So it's palmed on the table, and then I switch this and I pull the King of Diamonds out of my palm. The development of that was to create some distance between my hand and the switch. So my hand would be over here, and then the card would come down and switch, meaning that this card has to find its way over there. So I would just pop it off of my thumb so it'd slide across the table to make the switch. However, you could see that card, you could see it moving across the table, which then led me to move backwards to the deck, where I can execute a top shot across the table. Now the top shot, Leonard Green, the top shot is so fast that it shoots across that table at high speed that there is a chance that your audience or your participant might not see it. But don't fool yourself in telling yourself that, and that's exactly why I settled for, and I don't want to say this out loud, but That's why I've settled for this being the final version. Now I know I shouldn't say that because it's not the final version, because maybe in 5 years time, if I'm still here, I'll find a new development for this move, or I will be indirectly influenced by somebody out there in the Magic world who has another idea for this, and I just happen to see it and I go, damn it, I wish I could have come up with that. But for now, at least, this is kind of where it stops at its ultimate moment, which is not a trick which would fool the audience or fool the participant. That's why I present this as a demonstration of sleight of hand, as an expose. You want your participant to see this. Now I know a lot of performers and a lot of magicians, especially who kind of lean into the gambling world, they want their audience to see how much skill they have, right? And that's probably the number one reason why magicians lean into the magic, into the gambling world, so that the audience can go, wow, look at how much skill he's got, golf claps. And this is one of those moves where it looks impossible. It looks like it's taken 20 years to master. Really, if you can master the top shot, you can master this move. A few videos back, by any means necessary. This is a good example of that. Another good example of that. I'm sat at a table. Whenever I'm sat at a table, the thoughts that come to my mind, lapping. What can I do at this table in this situation with lapping? And this is one of those switches. One of the most beautiful things that you can do with lapping, in my opinion. I'll give full credit to this idea, to this switch, to Babel. I believe that that's the right thing to say because he's the first one who shared it in the industry. He discovered it way before I did, and perhaps he even influenced or taught the magician in question, who I can't name because he doesn't want to be named. He is in Paris after all. Anyway, there's a few more things that I want to say, but I'm going to save them for the outro. I won't keep talking and chewing your ear off. Join me at the card table and I'll show you how to achieve that switch. When we look at the mechanics of this move, there's a few different ways that we can get to that switch. I don't own any of my tricks. I don't want to claim ownership over anything that I've discovered. If you ever see me performing something or presenting something or teaching something that you have seen published somewhere else, or you know of another magician who feels upset about that and wants credit and wants to say, that's mine, let me know and I'll correct it. I understand the importance of that, but at the same time, magic is a beautiful monster unto itself, and it doesn't need little people like us coming along and trying to grab and own it and try to take away from it. The whole point of what we're doing, and the whole point of what I'm doing, especially here at YouTube, is to discover, create, develop ideas with playing cards and offer them to the world of magic, to offer them to the Gesamtkunstwerk, the complete total work of art. Everything that I come up with, everything that I offer is another contribution to the complete work of art that is magic, that will have nothing to do with me at the very end of time. I'm just a visitor who's fixated and obsessed with playing cards. I'm just passing through. And on that note, I'm Daniel Madison. Thanks for spending this time with me. Mad love.